Hey guys, so I have been hearing a ton of questions about, what's going on in the market and how things are changing, mostly from buyers, right? Sellers a little bit more confident still. I'm Hutch Marone, your real estate agent here in Atlanta, and I've got some answers for you. I know statistics are a little dry. Just going to run through a couple of high level things. So, for the last 10 years, average days on market versus list price or number of sales, right? So not list price, number of sales. So that's the first thing we're looking at here. I'm going back 10 years because I want you all to see what a buyer's market looks like. So months of inventory, typical buyer's market is about 5 to 6 months worth of inventory. Here you can see back in January 2012, coming out of the recession, 10, 9, 7, 6, you get the point, right? Clearly a buyer's market, maybe a balanced market, depending who you look at. You can see that, unfortunately for many of us, when it's a good time to buy, like a buyer's market with 10 months of inventory, 3,276 home sales. That's pretty low for Atlanta. This is all of Atlanta, right? So that's pretty low, actually. And that's unfortunate, right? Because this is a great time to buy when nobody else is. It's when you get your best deals. Now, I'm going to fast forward real quick to a few years later, around 2015, 2016. 2016 is roughly when Atlanta home prices got back to pre-recession levels. So think pre-2008. So you can see we've just started to get into kind of a seller's market here in 2015 and 2016, and home sales have gone up. People are catching on, right? Instead of 3,000 and change, we're now in 4 or 5,000 and change, except post Christmas, of course, people aren't buying. January is always a slow month. And then we keep coming down now to present. Let's kind of get down to the present time. So you can see during COVID, I know everybody thought that, hey, nobody's buying, but take a look over here. I mean, December, 7,000 homes, 4, 5, 7, 7. People were buying homes. In fact, what really happened, and this drove the huge price increases, right? You can see that buying during COVID picked up many of the months. However, inventory was dangerously low, okay? So now in 2012, 10, 9, 8 months of inventory. By 2020, 2 to 1, 1 to 2 months of inventory, yet there's more people out buying. So if you wondered why prices went way up on homes, that's why. Now, again, has the market been slowing down a little bit? Sure. Home sales have come down from COVID levels, almost 8, 7, right? And you can see that's come down a little bit, right? Especially in January of this year. But again, January is always a slow month, right? February picks up a little bit. Still pretty robust here in April, May, and June. Okay, 7,000. Right? And then here's July, where it slowed down a little bit more, and we picked up 3 months of inventory. Here's what I'm saying. If you are making your determination about, you're making decisions about your future, and it's based on just this past month, and you're ignoring all of this, right? I don't think that's a wise decision. I have no crystal ball. However, you can still see here that we have a pretty healthy buying market, right? There's a lot of sales. We are nowhere near a buyer's market, right? 3,000 up here, right? With 10 months of inventory. Okay, so last month we ended in July 2022, we ended with 3 months worth of inventory, still a strong seller's market, and 5,600 home sales. Now, let's look at something else you might be interested in, average days on market versus list price. Because, again, as a buyer, a lot of us are like, hey, I would really like to see prices, come down. I get the sense that prices are really coming down. So is that true? Okay. let's go here and we will do, let's do total days on market as a median. And let's go here and do average, let's see, list price. There we go. Median list price. Okay. And I'm looking at these numbers right along with you, so I don't know what they're going to say. So we're learning together, right? It's something that I regularly do, dive into the numbers because, I want to be fact-based when I'm talking to people. So January 2012, we established we were still in a buyer's market. Total days on market in a buyer's market look more like this, right? 79, 68, 55, okay? Here was your median list price in Atlanta. Now we fast forward a little bit to 2015, just like we did on the other report. And we're at 54, 40, 37, 27. You can see it's starting to, days on market starting to come down. List prices starting to go up, right? But we also know that inventory is shrinking during this period of time from the last slide. And we come over here to, let's see what happened around the time of COVID. So now we can see that for a short period of time, there was some uncertainty. Total days on market really bumped up, and then it started to come back down. I mean, we're under 3 weeks. Prices continue to go up in general, okay? Little back and forth here. And now, last year, right, prices just basically start going up almost every month, bringing us into this year where, we were single-digit days on market with price increases almost every month. And now, again, inventory's up a little bit, days on market up a little bit, and price has backed off a little bit. Okay. Now, again, though, right, this is an $11,000 decrease in general. Not necessarily 1 month is not a reason to necessarily sit around. At the beginning of COVID, we saw days on market bump up, right? There was a period of time where days on market really started to take off because nobody knew what was going on, okay? But prices basically moved sideways, came down a little bit, okay? If you consider $10,000, $15,000 a price decrease, fine, all right? That's just a few percent, and then took off, right? And that's the risk. The problem for most people, as we saw on the last slide, is they don't know where the bottom is. So by the time you actually reach a bottom, everybody's kind of paralyzed and not doing anything about it, right? That last slide I showed you, last chart, we saw that at a market bottom, we also had the least amount of buyers. Some of that is because people have lost their jobs. It's a recession, and sometimes it's just paralysis, right? It's just, I don't know when it's going to find its bottom. I'm going to wait till it finds its bottom. And then it finds its bottom and it starts to recover. And then people are like, well, I'm not sure if it's actually recovering, so I'll wait a little longer. And you end up missing the bottom. Here's the point. Market timing doesn't work, right? In other words, you trying to figure out what's the bottom and is this really a bounce? It could come back down even lower than before. It could go back up. You are purchasing a home. This is not a short-term investment. So you've got to look at today's levels and go 5 years from now, or think 5 years from now, is it going to be higher than it is today? Do I believe that the market is going to end up higher? And, we just looked through the last 10 years and we saw that in a 5-year period, there was a period where it flattened out a little bit and inventory climbed a little bit and then took off again. And, people who bought around 2015, 2016 did really well over the last 5 years or so, right? If you bought in 2017, okay, so let's say let's go back 5 years to July 20, 2017 or 2018. Okay, so let's go back to July 2018. Homes crept up just like they are now, right? Days on market crept up. 275, 275, 279. So even though days on market's creeping up, we see prices, kind of wiggling around the same space, right? And that went on for a few months. They didn't really come down too much, right? It was down a little bit from this 299, 290. So this could be the environment we are in right now. And so if you bought anywhere around 275, I'm going to ignore this anomaly of that one December at 254. Just say 270, you had months to buy at 275. Here you are 5 years later today. Even with the pullback, right, that people are talking about in July, you've gone from 275 to 419. I got friends that got in on a home at 290 right before COVID. Their home is worth about $450,000 today. They're friends and buyers of mine. I can tell that story over and over again. So that's what you're looking at, the 5-year window, or at least that's what I'm encouraging you to do. If you have any questions about this and want to learn more, Hutch Marone, your real estate agent here in Atlanta. Give me a call, 678-551-4721, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.